Carl Jung's Forbidden Truth. 5 secrets you must never reveal after spiritual awakening. Knowing your own darkness is the best method for dealing with the darknesses of other people. Carl Jung. In today's world, where oversharing has become the norm, true spiritual wisdom lies in what we choose to keep sacred. In this video, we'll uncover 5 powerful truths Carl Jung warned us never to reveal once you've awakened spiritually, not out of fear, but to protect your inner light and maintain the sanctity of your transformation. Each secret you guard is a boundary that strengthens your soul, guiding you toward peace, clarity, and self-mastery. As you listen, reflect on your own journey. Which of these truths have you been too open about? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's grow together on this path of higher consciousness. 1. Never reveal your shadow before integrating it. Carl Jung taught that revealing your shadow before you've truly integrated it can destroy its power to transform you. The shadow represents the hidden, rejected parts of your being, the emotions you suppress, the desires you deny, the fears you refuse to face. When you share these unhealed aspects too soon, before understanding or accepting them, you interrupt the sacred alchemy of transformation. You risk turning healing into performance, confession into projection, and spirituality into ego. In the process, what could have become your inner gold instead disperses as wasted energy. When the shadow is exposed prematurely, projection becomes your first trap. You unconsciously throw your darkness onto others, blaming them for what you have not yet faced within yourself. Instead of transforming pain, you repeat it in different forms through criticism, judgment, or resentment. The second danger is ego inflation. Speaking about your wounds before they are healed often gives the illusion of growth, as if awareness equals transformation. But awareness without humility is still a mask of the ego. It makes you feel special for suffering instead of liberated by understanding. And finally, there is energy leakage. Words are containers of power. When spoken too early, they release the energy meant for internal change. Like spilling sacred water before the ritual is complete, your transformation loses its potency. True shadow work, as Jung emphasized, is not meant for public display, but for sacred introspection. It is a silent confrontation with your inner world, where your greatest fears and hidden desires live. It happens through reflection, journaling, prayer, and mindful observation. You meet your pain without judgment and allow your unconscious to speak through dreams, emotions, and intuition. Only when your shadow is faced in honesty can it be integrated into light. This is where real spiritual awakening begins, not in speaking about your darkness, but in transforming it quietly until it no longer defines you. Those who are truly walking the path of spirituality understand that silence is strength. They know that transformation happens in the unseen, not in the applause of others. When your shadow is fully integrated, it becomes wisdom rather than confession. It becomes your power instead of your wound. You no longer need to announce your healing, because your presence itself speaks of peace. Integration is the moment you can hold both light and darkness without conflict, knowing they are both sacred. The mature soul doesn't reveal its pain to be validated, but shares it only when it can uplift others. That is the mark of true spiritual wisdom. The mastery of energy, the discipline of silence, and the courage to heal in solitude until the light within you becomes unshakable. Comment below. I am mastering my shadow. If you are ready to face your darkness with courage and turn it into light. 2. Keep your synchronicities private. Synchronicities are not coincidences, but sacred alignments between your inner world and the outer universe. When these moments appear, when you think of someone and they suddenly call, when a symbol repeats itself, or when life feels like it's speaking directly to you, it's your psyche sending a divine message through the language of the soul. Carl Jung called this a causal connecting principle, where two seemingly unrelated events meet in perfect harmony to remind you that everything is connected. These signs are deeply personal, designed specifically for your stage of spiritual development. And when you honor them privately, their power multiplies. But when you share them too soon for validation or attention, their energy begins to dissolve. What was once a mystical message becomes noise. What was sacred becomes spectacle. The more you try to explain them, the further you move from their original magic, because synchronicities are not meant to be proven, they are meant to be lived and understood in silence. You must learn to protect the language of your soul. When you experience a synchronicity, write it down, sit with it, and reflect on what it might be trying to tell you. The universe doesn't speak in words, but in patterns, symbols, and timing. Each sign mirrors your inner transformation, showing you how far your consciousness has evolved. Sharing it too early with others invites external opinions that can distort the message and weaken your spiritual connection. Some people will not understand, and others may project their skepticism or ego upon it. Spirituality is a sacred dialogue between you and the divine. It doesn't need an audience. Just as a seed must remain underground before it sprouts into light, your synchronicities must be protected in silence until their meaning fully blossoms within you. Every coincidence is a mirror reflecting your energy back to you, reminding you that the universe is responsive to your vibration. When you observe without broadcasting, you train your awareness to recognize divine order in all things. Over time, this sacred practice becomes an anchor in your spiritual awakening, guiding you toward deeper intuition and faith. Keeping your synchronicities private is not secrecy, it is spiritual maturity. It means you no longer chase validation, but trust that the signs meant for you will continue to unfold at the right time. As you grow in spirituality, you realize that divine communication thrives in stillness. The less you speak of it, the louder it echoes within. So treasure your synchronicities as holy whispers from your higher self. Protect them from the noise of the world, and let their wisdom unfold naturally as you walk further into your spiritual development. Have you ever noticed signs or patterns from the universe that felt too personal to explain? If so, share how they guided you in the comments below so others can learn from your experience. If not, comment, "I'm open to divine synchronicities," and begin your journey of awareness today. 3. Guard your archetypal dreams. Carl Jung's spiritual wisdom teaches that not every revelation is meant to be shared, especially those that arise through dreams carrying powerful archetypal symbols from the collective unconscious. These dreams, where the wise old man, the divine child, or the great mother appear, are not coincidences. They are sacred encounters with the deeper layers of your psyche. Each figure you see in these dreams represents a potential within you waiting to awaken. Yet, if you reveal these visions too soon or interpret them as proof of enlightenment, you may fall into what Jung called psychic inflation, where the ego confuses connection with identity and begins to think, "I am the wise one," or "I am divine." When that happens, you lose the essence of the message. The purpose of these dreams is not to glorify the self, but to humble it, to remind you that the archetypes are mirrors reflecting what you can become, not medals proving who you already are. The wise old man appears not to crown you with superiority, but to guide you toward patience, insight, and inner discipline. The divine child represents the rebirth of your pure essence, the part of you that trusts life, feels wonder, and radiates love without ego. The Great Mother embodies compassion, balance, and the sacred ability to nurture life within and around you. These archetypal figures are lessons clothed in symbols, not confirmations of spiritual rank. When you share them prematurely, the energy meant to transform you internally disperses outwardly through words, comparison, and pride. The soul's alchemy requires silence because transformation happens in stillness, not in display. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Becoming requires time, reflection, and the courage to hold mystery without needing applause. Your dreams are divine seeds planted in the soil of your unconscious mind. If you dig them up to show others, you interrupt their growth. Instead, let them germinate in silence. Record them, study their symbols, meditate on their patterns, and ask what quality or truth they are awakening within you. Each dream speaks a sacred language that only your higher self fully understands. When you interpret them with humility rather than pride, they reveal wisdom that no book or teacher can give you. Jung often reminded his students that the greater the light, the darker the shadow. Every spiritual revelation exposes both the divine and the human within you. The ego will try to claim the light as its own, but true awakening means learning to hold that light with reverence, not possession. Guarding your archetypal dreams does not mean repressing them. It means protecting their sacred energy until they mature into understanding. When you do this, you transform quietly from within, embodying the wisdom of your dreams instead of merely talking about them. You begin to live the qualities of the wise old man through discernment, the divine child through innocence, and the Great Mother through love. This is the essence of Carl Jung's spiritual wisdom. To awaken is not to boast of revelation, but to live it with grace. So when sacred dreams visit you, do not announce them, become them. Let your transformation be your only testimony, for that is how divine truth stays pure within you. Don't forget to subscribe for more spiritual wisdom on understanding and protecting your archetypal dreams, where the deepest messages of your soul are revealed. 4. Do not announce your ego dissolution. When the boundaries of your identity begin to dissolve and you experience a moment of pure awareness, it feels like touching eternity itself, a breathtaking stillness where everything and nothing coexist. But what Carl Jung taught through his deep exploration of spirituality and the human psyche is that such profound moments are not meant to be announced, glorified, or shared too quickly. When you dissolve the ego and merge with oneness, you enter a realm beyond language, beyond comprehension, and trying to explain it to others who have not yet tasted That state often invites misunderstanding, doubt, or even ridicule. People trapped within their own egos may project fear or skepticism, causing your still fragile awareness to tremble. What was once a divine revelation may suddenly turn into confusion and spiritual instability. This is why Jung said, "No tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." It means that the higher your consciousness rises, the deeper you must ground yourself in ordinary human experience. Spiritual awakening is not about escaping reality. It is about bringing heaven into the smallest acts of everyday life. You must integrate those transcendent moments gently, like nurturing a delicate seedling before it becomes a tree. When you awaken, there is a temptation to tell the world what you have seen, to speak of your oneness with the universe, to share how you felt yourself dissolve into divine light. Yet true spirituality is not performative. It is silent, patient, and sacred. The more deeply you awaken, the more you realize that silence itself becomes your teacher. Every revelation must pass through the test of embodiment. It must be lived, not spoken. Balancing transcendence with daily reality is not a limitation. It is the only way for enlightenment to endure. Without grounding, the expanded consciousness can become unbalanced, floating too high to function in the physical world. You might lose touch with simple joys, with human connection, or even with your sense of purpose. Jung's wisdom reminds us that awakening is not an endpoint, but a delicate dance between spirit and matter, light and shadow, expansion and contraction. To stay rooted, you must consciously engage with the world. Cook your meals with awareness. Feel gratitude while washing dishes. Breathe deeply as you walk under the sky. And remember that the divine is not somewhere above you. It is within the ordinary rhythm of life itself. After ego dissolution, the self is reborn in stillness, fragile yet luminous. Do not rush to define or display this transformation. Let it breathe. Speaking too early about such sacred experiences can reawaken the very ego you transcended. The desire to announce your awakening often comes from the subtle residue of the old self still seeking recognition. Instead, let your presence speak louder than your words. Let your peace become your message. Spirituality, in its truest form, is an invisible power, a quiet knowing, a calm that cannot be shaken. Integrate your awakening slowly and allow the divine awareness to flow naturally through your daily interactions. Live with humility and grace, for enlightenment is not an achievement, but a return to your natural state of being. You are not required to explain to others what cannot be understood with the mind. You are only asked to live it, to embody the light you've seen, and to honor the balance between transcendence and humanity. Remember that even after ego death, you are still meant to experience laughter, love, struggle, and simplicity. The awakened soul does not withdraw from the world, it radiates through it. Balance is the mark of real awakening. To walk the earth while remembering heaven, to act with compassion while rooted in stillness, to be fully human and yet deeply divine. That is the essence of true spiritual awakening, the moment when enlightenment ceases to be an idea and becomes your way of being. If you've stayed with us this far, it means you're truly walking the path of awareness. Comment below, "I am dissolving the ego," to affirm your inner growth. Your reflections help us build a community of conscious souls. 5. Never declare freedom from morality. After awakening, many people fall into the illusion that they are now free from all moral boundaries. They begin to see that morality, which is labeled good or evil, is a social invention, a construct shaped by centuries of culture, fear, and religion. They think that by transcending these constructs, they have achieved true freedom. Yet this is one of the greatest traps of the ego after spiritual awakening. The awakened mind may reject the rules of society, but the awakened heart understands their purpose. Real spirituality is not about escaping morality. It is about embodying a higher, more conscious form of it. As Carl Jung once said, "No tree can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell." You must face the shadow of human nature and integrate it, not deny it. Spiritual development is not rebellion. It is reconciliation between your light and your darkness, between instinct and wisdom, between freedom and responsibility. When you are truly awake, your actions no longer come from fear of punishment or desire for praise. They arise naturally from compassion, from unity with life itself. You begin to live by inner ethics rather than external laws, not because someone tells you what is right, but because your soul simply cannot harm what it recognizes as part of itself. This is the silent strength of awakened morality. It is effortless, gentle, and authentic. It does not boast, it does not need validation, and it does not rebel to prove its independence. It moves quietly, like still water, aligning itself with the truth of existence. The more you evolve, the more you realize that morality is not a prison built by man. It is a compass that, when purified of ego, points you toward harmony and wholeness. So do not mistake transcendence for superiority. Thinking you are beyond good and evil only feeds the spiritual ego. The very illusion awakening was meant to dissolve. Real awakening is not about breaking rules. It is about outgrowing the need for them. You don't become free by rejecting morality. You become free by understanding it from the inside, by recognizing that true goodness doesn't need to be enforced. It simply flows through the awakened soul as naturally as light through clear glass. When morality rises from consciousness rather than conditioning, it is no longer a chain. It is the rhythm of life itself. The mature soul acts ethically not to please the world, but because unity has replaced separation and compassion has become its only law. In the end, spiritual freedom is not rebellion, it is integration. The enlightened person doesn't declare themselves beyond morality. They live as morality personified, blending wisdom and kindness, strength and humility. This is the secret. Jung pointed to the paradox that true awakening doesn't destroy ethics, it deepens them. It transforms moral duty into spontaneous love and turns external law into inner harmony. That is the mark of real spirituality, a silent, radiant integrity that needs no words, no rules, and no rebellion, only awareness. Stay aligned with true spiritual wisdom by subscribing to our channel, Spiritual Wisdom. Here, we explore the depths of Carl Jung's teachings and uncover truths that guide your awakening with integrity and light. Remember, freedom without morality is chaos. Walk the path of conscious awakening with grace and discernment. The journey of spiritual awakening is not about exposure, but preservation of wisdom, of energy, and of truth. As Carl Jung taught, the deepest revelations are meant to be lived, not displayed. Protect your sacred knowledge and let your silence speak through your transformation. If this message has awakened something within you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. And turn on the notification bell so you won't miss our upcoming videos filled with deeper insights on spirituality and self-mastery. Becoming addicted to your appearance? Carl Jung says that's not a bad thing. Beauty is eternity gazing at itself in a mirror. Khalil Gibran. What if your growing fascination with your own image isn't vanity, but a sign of deeper self-recognition? In today's video from Spiritual Wisdom, we'll explore Carl Jung's surprising insight that becoming captivated by your own reflection can actually be a sacred stage of individuation, a step toward integrating the self and awakening inner confidence. Have you ever noticed how your relationship with your appearance changes as your awareness grows? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's reflect together on how self-image can be a mirror for spiritual growth and personal happiness. 1. Appearance reflects the inner world. Carl Jung taught that your outer appearance is never just skin deep. It's a reflection of your inner world. When you neglect how you look, it often signals a deeper disconnection from your spirit. But when your appearance aligns with your inner truth, harmony begins to radiate through you. Confidence rises effortlessly, and your presence flows with natural ease. Your reflection is not vanity. It's feedback from your soul, a living symbol of your spiritual state. Every color you wear, every movement you make, every expression on your face mirrors the energy within. Spiritual awakening reminds you that the body is the temple of the spirit, not something to suppress, but something to honor as a channel through which consciousness becomes visible. When you start paying attention to how you appear, it's not about ego, it's about awareness. You begin to treat yourself as something sacred. Your body becomes a canvas where your inner light paints its truth. This is why during moments of inner transformation, you often feel the urge to change your look, to cut your hair, to refresh your style, to glow differently. It's not superficial, it's symbolic. The external shift reflects an internal rebirth. Jung called this the process of individuation, when the outer and inner selves finally meet in authenticity. You no longer wear an image to impress others. You wear your soul. This understanding transforms self-care into spiritual practice. When you dress with intention, when you nourish your body, when you express your natural beauty without guilt, you are not serving the ego. You are honoring your essence. Your reflection becomes a dialogue with the divine, revealing not who you think you should be, but who you already are beneath the noise. Your appearance then becomes an expression of energy, not insecurity, a statement that says, "My spirit is alive here, in this form." The eyes glow differently, the voice vibrates more softly, and your aura expands because inner peace is finally reflected through matter. There's a silent power in being fully aligned when your outer image no longer hides or exaggerates, but tells the truth of your soul. You walk differently because you are no longer fragmented. You dress not to be seen, but to express being. You care for your appearance because it is a form of gratitude for existing in this physical plane. Jung's wisdom invites us to see beauty, not as illusion, but as illumination, the light of spirit made visible through the body. To tend to your reflection consciously is not narcissism. It is a sacred form of remembrance, a declaration that your inner and outer worlds have learned to dance in harmony. If you truly believe that your appearance mirrors your inner world, let your light be seen. Type in the comments, "My outer beauty reflects my inner growth," and let this community know you're walking the path of spiritual wisdom with awareness and intention. 2. Appearance as responsibility, not vanity. Caring for your appearance is not vanity. It is a sacred act of responsibility toward your essence and purpose. When your outer presentation aligns with the way you feel inside, your energy rises, your confidence stabilizes, and life begins to flow with ease. In spirituality, this harmony between the inner and outer self is not superficial. It's a sign of spiritual growth and integrity. To look good is not to please others, but to honor the divine spark within you that longs to express beauty, order, and light. Your appearance becomes a language through which your soul speaks, a mirror that reflects your consciousness and reminds you that you are worthy of being seen. Neglecting your appearance, on the other hand, often signals inner disconnection. When your energy is low or your purpose feels dim, it shows in the way you carry yourself, in the way you dress, even in the tone of your presence. Taking care of how you look is not an obsession with perfection, but an acknowledgement of your worth. When you nurture your physical form with awareness, you send a message to your subconscious that you value yourself, that you are in harmony with life. This simple act can shift your entire vibration, aligning your energy field with abundance, confidence, and clarity. Carl Jung taught that the face we show the world, the persona, is not meant to be rejected, but purified. It becomes a spiritual bridge when it reflects the truth of who we are rather than conceals it. Every choice, from the colors you wear to the posture you hold, tells a story about your state of consciousness. When that story reflects love, self-respect, and peace, your outer world rearranges to match your inner vibration. People respond to you differently. Synchronicities appear effortlessly, and opportunities flow because your energy has become coherent. In that state, you no longer chase validation. You embody it. You become magnetic, not because of your appearance alone, but because your appearance is infused with the frequency of self-awareness and spiritual authenticity. Spiritual growth is not about detaching from the physical. It is about transforming the physical into a vessel of light. The body, the face, the clothes, all of these are temples through which the soul communicates. When you care for them consciously, you participate in the divine act of creation, turning everyday routines into spiritual rituals. Styling your hair, choosing your outfit, or simply standing tall becomes a silent prayer, a reminder that you honor the energy of life flowing through you. You begin to realize that beauty is not something to acquire, but something to awaken. Looking good, then, is not vanity, but devotion, a reflection of self-respect and inner integrity. When you align how you feel inside with how you express yourself outwardly, you create a state of wholeness that radiates peace and confidence. You start walking through the world as someone who knows that spirituality is not about escaping form, but illuminating it. Your appearance becomes an outer expression of inner harmony, a living proof that when the soul grows, it beautifies everything it touches, including you. 3. The science of alignment. When your outer image begins to reflect your inner truth, something powerful happens inside you. Your brain responds with a surge of dopamine and serotonin, those natural chemicals of joy and confidence that make you feel alive, magnetic, and aligned. You start walking with purpose, speaking with clarity, and radiating an energy that people can't quite explain but deeply feel. According to spiritual wisdom, this is not vanity, it's alignment. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And that journey often begins when you allow your physical appearance to become a mirror of your soul's authenticity. When what you see on the outside finally resonates with what you feel on the inside, you're not feeding the ego, you're nurturing harmony between the mind, body, and spirit. But when there's disconnection, when the way you look no longer reflects the person you've become within your body senses it, the chemistry shifts, and cortisol, the stress hormone, begins to flood your system. You might feel drained, uninspired, or strangely uncomfortable in your own skin. Jung called this inner conflict psychic disunity, a state where the conscious and unconscious self fall out of balance. The mirror stops feeling like the truth and starts feeling like tension because it's showing you an outdated version of yourself. This is not a call to chase perfection. It's a signal to realign. When you start honoring your current self through your appearance, through the colors you wear, the way you carry yourself, the energy you project, you are essentially saying, "I see who I am becoming." Your image is not just fabric, makeup, or posture. It's your soul's language made visible. Think of it as your aura clothed in matter. When the outer frame finally matches the artwork within, everything feels effortlessly right. Spiritual wisdom reminds us that beauty is not the pursuit of surface perfection, but the expression of vibrational truth. The more your thoughts, emotions, and spirit evolve, the more your outer world transforms to match that frequency. You begin to take care of yourself, not because you need validation, but because you respect the temple that carries your essence. You start to see your reflection as evidence of transformation, a visual prayer of who you are and who you're becoming. So when you feel drawn to refine your appearance, don't judge yourself. It might not be vanity at all. It might be your higher self guiding you toward alignment. You're responding to the soul's desire to bring the inner and outer worlds into resonance. As Jung would say, this is the process of individuation, the merging of all parts of the self into harmony. When your reflection becomes an honest echo of your inner evolution, confidence is no longer something you try to achieve. It simply flows. You're not obsessed with how you look. You're devoted to who you are becoming. And in that state of spiritual alignment, beauty stops being a goal and becomes your natural state of being. Leave your like and subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss more insights like this on the science of alignment. Stay connected with your inner power and let your outer world reflect your truth. Type in the comments, "I am in perfect alignment with my highest self." 4. 5 keys to mastering appearance. The mirror is not just a piece of glass. It's a spiritual tool, a portal that reflects not only your appearance, but your state of consciousness. Each morning, when you look at yourself, you're not checking for flaws. You're seeking alignment. Carl Jung, one of the greatest minds in psychology and spirituality, said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." To truly see yourself is an act of awakening. When you adjust your posture, fix your hair, or choose your outfit, you are subconsciously asking, does this version of me feel in harmony with my inner world? This is the mirror principle, the first key to mastering appearance through spiritual awakening. It's not about vanity, it's about awareness. Each small adjustment is an energetic recalibration, a way of reminding yourself that your outer world is meant to mirror the inner truth you are cultivating. When you approach your reflection with consciousness rather than criticism, your mirror becomes your mentor. The second key, the 10-minute investment, reminds you that self-care is a spiritual discipline. 10 minutes may seem like a small window, but when done with intention, it changes your entire vibration. Spend that time mindfully washing your face, stretching, breathing, meditating, or simply being present with your body. Jung taught that transformation begins in the everyday details, not the grand gestures. 10 minutes of devoted care signals to your subconscious that you are worthy of attention and peace. Over time, this ritual builds a foundation of self-trust and inner harmony. In spirituality, this daily act is not mere grooming. It's a dialogue between your body and soul, a morning prayer to your higher self through motion, touch, and care. Next is the personal standard, the invisible law that defines how you choose to appear in the world. It's not about fashion or trends. It's about coherence. How do you want your presence to feel? What vibration do you wish to radiate when you walk into a room? Your personal standard is the bridge between authenticity and presentation. When you decide what feels right for you, what colors, styles, and details represent your spirit, you are not masking yourself. You are expressing your essence. Jung believed that the persona, when consciously shaped, becomes a sacred vessel for the soul's truth. Maintaining your standard consistently communicates discipline and integrity, both powerful aspects of spiritual awakening. You begin to embody your highest energy, and others naturally respond to your clarity. Then comes the 1% philosophy, the reminder that growth, both inner and outer, is evolutionary, not explosive. Every day, strive to become 1% better, 1% more aligned, 1% more confident. In spiritual wisdom, even the smallest act of self-improvement has an exponential effect. It might mean dressing a little better, thinking a little kinder, or standing a little taller. These micro shifts compound over time, transforming not only your appearance, but your entire energy field. Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams. Who looks inside awakens." Each 1% improvement is a bridge between those two worlds, your external reflection and your inner evolution, becoming one seamless reality. Finally, the multiplier effect reveals the magic that occurs when you radiate confidence and coherence. Your energy becomes contagious. People are drawn not to your features, but to your frequency, the way your inner peace translates into presence. You influence others, not by words, but by vibration. When your outer image reflects your inner state of calm self-acceptance, you unconsciously grant others permission to do the same. In this way, caring for your appearance is not self-absorption, it's service. It elevates the collective energy around you. So when you tend to your reflection, give those 10 minutes to self-care, uphold your personal standard, grow 1% daily, and let your energy multiply outward. You are practicing spirituality in motion. You are embodying spiritual awakening in its most visible form, where beauty becomes consciousness, and every glance in the mirror is not vanity, but reverence for the divine life expressing itself through you. 5. Presence is power. After 40, your appearance is no longer about vanity. It becomes a reflection of your leadership, your inner maturity, and your spiritual growth. As Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And that truth is revealed not only through your mind, but through your very presence. When you walk into a room, people can sense whether you've made peace with yourself, whether your life has been lived consciously or carelessly. Maturity should express wisdom, not weariness. It should carry quiet confidence, not indifference. Neglect is not a sign of humility. It is often a symptom of spiritual fatigue. Caring for your appearance is an act of reverence. It says, "I honor my life, and I am prepared to lead." It shows that you understand the sacred responsibility of representing your inner world through your outer form. There is a profound connection between the way you present yourself and the energy you emit. In spirituality, this is called embodiment, the ability to allow your spirit to be seen, felt, and known through your physical being. The clothes you choose, the way you hold your posture, the softness or firmness of your gaze, all of it speaks the language of your soul. A well-cared-for appearance doesn't mean chasing youth or vanity. It means you've accepted your evolution. You've learned that beauty is not in perfection, but in alignment. When your outer self reflects your inner peace, you radiate something magnetic, an energy that draws others in without effort. Those who have matured with awareness carry a different kind of light. They lead not by words, but by presence. They embody serenity that cannot be faked. You can feel it in how they move, how they breathe, how they listen. Jung understood that true personality is born when the ego surrenders to the soul, when the outer form becomes an instrument for something higher to express itself. And so, the way you care for your appearance after 40 is no longer about impressing others. It's about mirroring your self-respect. You begin to treat your body like a temple, your clothes like extensions of your energy, and your daily rituals like sacred acts of self-honoring. Your appearance becomes a silent declaration that you are living in awareness. The wrinkles on your face are not flaws. They are maps of wisdom. The way you style yourself, walk, or speak reveals whether you live in chaos or in calm. Each choice, from grooming to demeanor, becomes a statement of self-leadership. And when your outer image harmonizes with your inner growth, you embody the essence of spiritual maturity. People start to feel safe in your presence because you have integrated your own contradictions. You no longer chase approval. You radiate wholeness. This is the beauty that Carl Jung's spiritual wisdom points to. A beauty born from consciousness, not control. When you take care of yourself, you're not indulging in vanity. You're embodying self-awareness. You're showing that you understand the sacred unity between spirit and matter. You are, in essence, saying to the world, "I am here, fully awake, grounded in who I've become." And that kind of presence rooted in self-respect, refined through experience, and balanced by humility, is the most powerful form of leadership there is. If this message has awakened something within you, affirm it in the comments. I choose to live fully present in every moment. My power is in the now. 6. The symbolic meaning of the body. Your body is not just a physical form, it is the sacred vessel through which your spirit reveals itself. As Carl Jung's spiritual wisdom reminds us, the body is the visibility of the soul. The soul is the meaning of the body. When you neglect your appearance or treat your body carelessly, you are not being humble. You are silencing one of the most powerful languages your soul has to express itself. Your body and style are instruments of destiny, a visible reflection of your unseen essence. To ignore them is to mute the dialogue between your soul and the world. When your outer self begins to mirror your inner wholeness, you awaken a deep harmony within the kind where life itself begins to move in rhythm with you. Your appearance is not vanity. It's a reflection of how aligned you are with your truth. The clothes you wear, the way you walk, the glow in your skin, all of it speaks before you ever say a word. When you nurture your physical form with awareness, you honor your spirit in motion. Jung's teachings remind us that the path to individuation, the process of becoming your true self, includes the reconciliation between body and soul. Your physical form is a mirror of your psychological state, an ever-evolving artwork of your consciousness. When you begin to see your body not as something to fix, but as something sacred to express, you open the door to psychological wholeness. To be addicted to your appearance, in this sense, is not a weakness, but a devotion. It means you are in love with the vessel that carries your light. Each choice you make, every color you wear, every scent you choose, every gesture you make, transmits a silent message about your energy. You are constantly broadcasting your inner vibration to the outer world. As Jung once said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And becoming who you truly are means allowing every layer of your being, mind, body, and spirit to reflect that truth without shame or fear. Caring for your body consciously is not vanity, it's visibility. It's how your spirit declares, I am here. When you look in the mirror and see beauty not as an illusion, but as evidence of inner harmony, you enter the state of self-respect that radiates authenticity. You no longer dress to impress. You adorn to express. You stop trying to look like someone else and instead begin to look like yourself. And that's when the world begins to respond differently. You draw in opportunities, relationships, and synchronicities that match your vibration because your inner world and outer image are no longer in conflict. They are speaking the same language. When your body mirrors your soul, life becomes fluid. You move with grace instead of resistance. You attract what resonates instead of chasing what doesn't. Your presence becomes your power. Your energy becomes your signature, and your appearance becomes an extension of your consciousness. That is the ultimate message of spiritual wisdom. When the body aligns with the soul, you no longer have to seek validation from the world. You become the embodiment of your own truth, and the universe, in turn, conspires with you. 7. The upward spiral of self-image. When you take care of yourself, something subtle but powerful begins to unfold within you. Carl Jung, whose teachings often connect psychology and spirituality, would call this the awakening of your inner world. The simple act of caring for your appearance is not vanity. It is self-respect made visible. It's the way your soul whispers, I am worthy of care. When you nurture your self-image, you activate an upward spiral that transforms how you feel, how you act, and what you attract. You start to feel better. And when you feel better, you act better. When you act better, you achieve better. And when you achieve better, you care even more. This is not just a cycle of improvement. It's a spiritual evolution in motion. Spirituality is not about rejecting the body or denying beauty in the name of humility. It is about bringing harmony between your body, mind, and spirit. When you choose to look after yourself, to dress with intention, to move with grace, to smile at your reflection, you are acknowledging the divinity in your form. You're saying to the universe, I honor this vessel that carries my soul. And in return, your life begins to align with that frequency of respect. Your choices become more conscious, your thoughts more peaceful, your relationships more balanced. As Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And to become that person, you must first see yourself as worthy of becoming. The upward spiral of self-image is not about chasing perfection, but embodying presence. When you treat yourself with love, your energy radiates beyond the physical. It touches your emotions, your focus, and your actions. Every act of care becomes a statement of self-belief, a reminder that you are not separate from the divine, but a reflection of it. Jung believed that transformation begins in the unconscious. When you tend to your outer world, your inner world listens. When you care for your body, your mind becomes more focused. When you nurture your energy, your spirit begins to awaken. You create a positive feedback loop between the inner and outer self, where each reinforces the other in a dance of evolution. But when you neglect yourself, the spiral reverses. You feel less alive, less inspired, and your energy begins to fade. Neglect isn't humility. It's a silent form of self-abandonment. Jung warned that what you resist persists, and when you resist your own beauty, strength, or potential, you bury them in your shadow. This hidden self begins to control you from the background, showing up as insecurity, jealousy, or self-doubt. The decay of self-image is not just emotional, it's spiritual. Your light dims, not because it has vanished, but because you've forgotten to tend to it. The downward spiral begins when you stop believing that you are worth evolving for. In truth, your self-image is the mirror of your soul's current state of consciousness. It can either lift you toward your highest potential or pull you down into apathy. The choice is always yours, to rise through love and awareness, or to fall through neglect and denial. Spiritual awakening begins when you realize that caring for yourself is not shallow. It's sacred. It is the act of aligning your physical expression with your inner truth. When you fix your posture, when you speak kindly to yourself, when you radiate confidence, you are not just improving your appearance, you are tuning yourself to a higher frequency. Carl Jung would say that every external act has an internal echo. The way you treat your reflection is the way you treat your spirit. So, when you choose to value yourself, you teach the universe how to value you. This is not vanity, it's reverence. It's the realization that the body and soul are partners in the art of becoming. When you love what you see, not from ego, but from awareness, you become magnetic. Your confidence turns into calmness. Your calmness turns into compassion. And your compassion becomes the very essence of spiritual wisdom. This is the true upward spiral of self-image, a continuous unfolding where your outer beauty becomes the mirror of your inner awakening, and every act of self-care becomes an expression of divine consciousness in motion. If you find this content touching your heart, please consider becoming a member to receive more in-depth lessons and direct support from me. 8. Practical transformation tools. Each day offers a chance to meet yourself again, and one of the most powerful ways to do that is through conscious reflection. The 5-minute mirror audit isn't just about seeing your face, it's about witnessing your evolution. When you look in the mirror at night, don't ask, "Am I perfect?" Ask instead, "Does my appearance reflect the person I am growing into?" This is where spirituality and self-image merge, when your reflection becomes a conversation with your soul. As you keep this nightly ritual, you start to notice subtle changes, not just in how you look, but in how you carry your truth, how your posture reflects confidence, and how your eyes radiate calm self-acceptance. Beyond the mirror, there is a deeper journey, the ritual of 3 mirrors. The first mirror reflects your physical presence, the vessel through which your spirit moves in this world. The second shows your emotional energy and what feelings linger within you after each day. The third mirror reveals your aspiration, the higher version of you calling to be expressed. By practicing this ritual, you align your physical, emotional, and spiritual selves, turning self-awareness into a form of sacred discipline. Carl Jung believed that the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. And through these reflections, you move closer to that radical acceptance, which is the foundation of spiritual growth. Transformation also lives in the everyday choices that shape your environment, like the wardrobe renewal practice. Once a week, remove one item from your closet that no longer represents who you are becoming. This simple act of release carries immense symbolic power. Each piece of clothing you let go of is an old identity, a vibration that no longer matches your present frequency. As you make space, you allow new energy to flow into your life. This is spirituality in motion, decluttering the physical to mirror the cleansing of the emotional and energetic layers within you. Then comes the morning ritual expansion. Add 15 minutes to your routine, not for vanity, but for reverence. Those extra moments are an offering to your higher self. When you wash your face, feel the water as renewal. When you dress, choose colors that resonate with your current vibration, perhaps grounding earth tones for balance or radiant whites for purity. As you stand before the mirror, affirm, "I am becoming the person I am meant to be." These small moments of mindfulness build emotional resilience and spiritual awareness, setting the tone for your entire day. Finally, there is the 90-day photo challenge. Every day, capture an image of yourself, not to chase perfection, but to honor progression. After 3 months, when you look back, you'll see more than surface changes. You'll see energy, posture, and presence evolving. You'll see a version of yourself who has learned to embody growth consciously. Spirituality isn't always about meditation or prayer. Sometimes it's about observing your own metamorphosis with love. Each photograph becomes a visual diary of transformation, proof that devotion to self-awareness leads to visible lightness and inner alignment. Through these practices, the mirror audit, the 3 mirrors ritual, wardrobe renewal, morning ritual expansion, and the 90-day photo journey, you begin to understand that self-care is not superficial. It's sacred. Every act of grooming becomes a prayer of embodiment. Every mirror becomes a portal of awareness. And as you integrate these tools, you'll realize that true beauty is not a mask, it's energy made visible, the radiance of a soul in alignment. This is what spiritual growth truly looks like when it's lived, not just understood. 9. The deeper lesson of Jung. Your appearance is not a mask you wear to please the world. It is a mirror of your becoming, the visible expression of your inner evolution. You cannot embody discipline, confidence, or purpose while neglecting the vessel that carries them. When you care for your appearance, you're not worshiping vanity. You're practicing spiritual wisdom in motion. As Carl Jung said, the outer world mirrors the inner one, and that truth extends to your body, your clothes, your energy, and the way you meet the day. Every detail of your image is an external echo of your internal order, and when you neglect it, you silently tell your subconscious that your dreams are not yet worth showing up for. But when you polish your reflection with intention, you communicate to your soul that it is safe and necessary to rise into its potential. Caring for your image is a form of applied psychology, a living affirmation that you take your destiny seriously. It's not about perfection, but alignment, aligning the way you look with the life you are calling in. The way you dress, walk, and carry yourself tells your unconscious who you believe yourself to be. If you carry yourself like a person of strength, grace, and purpose, the mind will begin to shape itself to match that belief. As Aristotle once wrote, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. In this sense, every small act of care, washing your face, ironing your shirt, standing tall, is not superficial. It's sacred. It's a daily ritual that builds discipline and signals self-respect. Jung often spoke about the persona, the mask we show the world, not as something fake, but as a necessary bridge to the self. When consciously shaped, your outward form becomes a tool for awakening, not deception. Think of how temples are cleaned before prayer, candles are lit before meditation, or robes are worn for ceremonies. None of these are about impressing others. They are reminders to the spirit that what you're about to do matters. Your body is your first temple. Caring for it is your first act of devotion. Through grooming, posture, and presence, you align the outer and inner worlds until they vibrate in harmony. Each day, you delay caring for your appearance. You delay your potential. Transformation doesn't happen all at once. It begins in small, consistent acts of self-respect. If you want to become more confident, start by looking like someone who is. If you want to feel more grounded, dress in a way that reflects calm and clarity. The soul speaks through symbols, and your image is one of them. It is not vanity, it is vibration. When you look at yourself in the mirror with intention, you are reminding your unconscious, "I am worthy of showing up beautifully for my destiny." Carl Jung also said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." So bring awareness to the unconscious story your appearance tells. Is it one of neglect, avoidance, or unworthiness, or one of discipline, faith, and becoming? Every morning, you have the power to rewrite that story. You don't need wealth or perfection to begin. You only need intention. Comb your hair with care, walk with presence, choose one symbol, a scent, a color, a gesture that reminds you of who you're becoming. Over time, these small, sacred rituals will rewire your mind toward confidence and grace. When you honor your reflection, you honor your destiny. The outer world responds to how you carry yourself. And when your energy says, "I am ready," opportunities start recognizing you. So stop waiting to feel good before you show up as your best self. Show up first, and the feeling will follow. Your appearance is a language of energy. And when spoken with awareness, it tells the universe that you are no longer running from your greatness. As Jung's spiritual wisdom teaches, the journey toward self-realization begins when your inner truth and outer form become one seamless expression of purpose. And remember, your appearance is not your prison. It's a mirror reflecting the soul's evolution. When you learn to see beauty not as vanity, but as vitality, you begin to embody the harmony Carl Jung spoke of, the union between your inner and outer worlds. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Spiritual Wisdom. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss our upcoming videos that dive deep into the psychology of the soul and the mysteries of self-realization.